Before I begin this video, I have a small announcement to make. All my previous videos have been in Malayalam language, but from now on I've decided that all my new videos, starting from this particular video, will be shot in a mix of Hindi and English language. Now, why am I doing this? Obviously to reach a larger audience, and also the fact that majority of my friends are non-Malayalis, at least 90% of them are non-Malayalis. And my friends are not able to watch and experience my videos, and I've been getting a lot of messages, a lot of comments asking me to, make videos in Hindi, make videos in English. It's not possible for me to make videos in multiple languages all at once because it takes a lot of time and effort, and all these AI tools which are there, which help you translate videos are all paid softwares. The ones which are free do a shitty job. So I've taken a creative decision that from now onwards, all my new videos will be in a mix of English and Hindi language. Press that like button, press that subscribe button, share my videos with your family, with your friends, and let me become your ultimate movie watching guide. What is up, guys? You are already watching Cinema is Life. In this one video, I am going to review 3 films. 3 new releases, starting with Inspector Zende, released on Netflix, starring Manoj, Bajpayee, a comedy crime movie. Then the very controversial The Bengal Files, directed by Vivek Agnihotri. And finally, the last film from the Conjuring franchise, Conjuring Last Rites. I have put timestamps in the timeline for you to just skip to whichever movie you're most anticipated about, but I'll say just watch the entire video. So let us jump straight into the reviews. The first movie that I'm going to review today is Inspector Zende, released directly on Netflix. It's directed by Chinmay Mandlekar, starring Manoj, Bajpayee, Jim Sarbh. Now, this movie, guys, is the actual retelling of the real-life police officer, Inspector Madhukar Zende, who caught the famous bikini killer Charles Shobraj, not just once, but twice. Now, in this film, Manoj Bajpayee, who plays Inspector Madhukar Zende, is tasked with catching Charles Shobraj, or what he's called in the film, Kal Bhojraj. I guess the makers did this to avoid copyright, played by Jim Sarbh. So, Madhukar Zende caught Charles Shobraj 15 years ago, and now this film begins with him escaping from Tihar jail, and how Madhukar Zende is again tasked with catching Charles Shobraj. This film, if you talk about the genre of this film, it's comedy and crime. The movie has really good comedy scenes. The dialogues, the overall incidents, and the events that are happening in this film are all very funny, and it's a pure cat and mouse chase between the Mumbai police and Kal Bhojraj. The cat and mouse chase adds to the thrilling aspects of the movie. There are scenes in this film where Manoj Bajpayee and Jim Sarbh are literally standing in the same place, but they're just not able to see each other. And while I was watching the film, I was like, "Piche dekho re Manoj bhai." Yeah, so it's a very fun film, guys. It's a no-brainer film. It's got really good story. It's got really good thrill elements. It's got really good comedy. Manoj Bajpayee has a team of, subordinate police officers who are all funny in different aspects. This was a good entertainer. If we talk about the acting, Manoj Bajpayee's role reminded me of his character from the Family Man series. Jim Sarbh has also done a really good job portraying Charles Shobraj. This is not the first time Charles Shobraj is being shown in movies. The recent Black Warrant web series on Netflix shows Charles Shobraj and his, time inside Tihar jail. Then there is a BBC-produced web series called The Serpent, which is again a retelling of Charles Shobraj and everything that he does. Then there's a Hindi film starring Randeep Hooda, Main or Charles, which again is a really good portrayal of Charles Shobraj. A really nice film. You guys should check these out. So overall, after watching Inspector Zende, I was left with a smile on my face. It had good comedy, it had good story, the cat and mouse was, fun, thrilling. And it's not just about cat and mouse between Mumbai police and Charles Shobraj. It's about what policemen have to deal with on a daily basis, the sacrifices that they have to make. There's an angle of Manoj Bajpayee and his wife, which is being shown of how the husband is always away from home and how the wife misses him, the relationship between husband and wife. It's all beautifully captured, the overall cinematography, the music, it's all fun, it's all comic. And I guess, just like me, you'll also have a good time. So this is like a perfect watch for the weekend, a no-brainer, you just sit and enjoy. So that's my review of Inspector Zende. Do check it out. Next up, I am going to review The Bengal Files, directed by Vivek Agnihotri. Now, this guy has been making the Dash Files movie series from a very long time now. It started with the Tashkent Files, fir aaya apna Kashmir Files, then came the Vaccine Files, and then now we are at the Bengal Files. So whenever he releases such a film, which shows communal riots, it divides the general movie audience into 2 halves. One which is like, wow, what an intense representation of horrific events which have happened in history. And then there's another side of people who say that this is pure propaganda made with the sole intention to spread hate amongst communities, amongst the public. So what I am going to do is I'm going to keep all of this propaganda, this political, ideology and the idea behind this film and my political views aside. I am purely going to talk about cinema through the lens of a cinema lover, whether I like this movie or not, whether you should watch this movie or not. If I talk about this film, guys, first of all, has a lot of violence. This is a retelling of the Bengal riots, the Calcutta riots, the Nuwakali riots, and these riots have been shown in the most violent way possible. Humans are just being butchered, cut, chopped, killed, shot in the most brutal way possible. It is not an easy watch. I mean, there are people who are eating popcorn beside me, and I was like, how can you guys even eat anything while watching this, while watching heads being chopped off, while, just watching people being ripped apart? It was just bad. It was just bad. So people who do not like violence, people who can't take violence, stay away from this film, because this is violence pro max ultra. The second thing, guys, is that this film is too long. It's 3.5 hours long. Just imagine you're inside the theater for more than 4 hours, combining the movie and the interval time. But I wasn't bored. The screenplay was crisp, the screenplay was engaging, it was very intense, like I told you earlier, but it didn't let me get bored. Now, if we talk about the story of the film, majority of the first half is set in 1945 and 1947, where they have shown us the riots, pure bloodshed. I mean, it's just purely Hindus versus Muslims, the Muslims attacking the Hindus first, the Hindus retaliating back, just bloodshed everywhere, being shown in the most violent way possible. Mahatma Gandhi is also there. He's being shown, let me tell you guys, in a very grey shade. I mean, it's just ironical that a film which is made to showcase riots which happened years ago has the ability to create new riots, to instill new riots. I mean, because the events which are being shown in this film are so extreme that it will make people's blood boil, and it will give rise to a lot of, extreme opinions. I mean, is that necessary or not in the current political landscape which we are living in this country, is a question that we should ask ourselves. So after watching the first half, you should do your own due diligence before letting just this cinema influence your brain. Now, when we shift to the second half, this is where the movie actually asks relevant questions. It's almost 80 years now since we are free. Are we really free? I mean, even before independence, we were Hindus versus Muslims, and even now we are doing the same, Hindus versus Muslims. Are we really free? Now, this is where I feel that the movie asked relevant questions. A really, really good positive about the film is the overall set design, the production design. They're showing us times of 1945 and 1947, the scale, and the overall look and feel of the film was very authentic. It was very good. I mean, kudos to the art directors of this film. Where this film lacks is the acting. Acting of each and every, important character in this film, except a few, is just very amateur. I mean, there's a serious timeline issue also. Pallavi Joshi, who plays the character of Bharati, so she's being shown as a character who's 18 years old during 1947, and in the present time, in 2025, she's supposed to be a 95-year-old woman, but she's being shown as an old woman who doesn't look 95 at all. I mean, she can just walk normally, she looks young, she looks 70, 75, so there's a major timeline issue there. And also, I mean, there are a lot of, background actors involved, especially during the parts of the riots where, we're seeing a lot of dead bodies. So there are scenes when people are actually carrying dead bodies to burn their bodies off, but these dead bodies are just moving. I mean, they're moving their hands, they're moving their faces and everything. It's very evident. So even though the production quality was good, the acting of the important characters and also the supporting background actors was just bad. I have a point to raise regarding the censor board over here, guys. Now, why is it that the censor board is being selective about which riot to shrug under the rug and which riot to propagate amongst the audience through movies? A case example here is the recently released Malayalam movie Empuran, which showed the Gujarat riots in its initial scenes. Just 2-3 days after the film released, it faced a lot of backlash and the film was then cut. I mean, there were a lot of scenes which were chopped off, which showed these riots. Character names were changed. I mean, these are people who are real, whose videos you can find on YouTube, who are publicly accepting whatever they have done. But, the censor board doesn't want people or the general audience to see all of that. And then why is that movies like the Bengal Files and the Kashmir Files, being shown without any cuts, without any censors? I mean, the selective treatment of which riot to show and which riot to hide, this selective treatment by the censor board is something which goes beyond my understanding. Guys, that was my review of The Bengal Files. All I have to say to you is be cognizant of the political landscape that we are currently living in and be sensible in allowing whether this film should influence you or not. Now, the last and final film which I'm going to review in this video, guys, is The Conjuring Last Rites. The Conjuring movie franchise is very famous in India. The first 2 films directed by James Wan were the actual good Conjuring films. Conjuring 3 was a downgrade, and now Conjuring 4 is just the final nail in the coffin. Conjuring 4 Last Rites was not scary at all, guys. In fact, it was boring. It was funny during its climax. I'll tell you why. If you talk about the film, this film is just not letting go of the age-old horror movie template. There's nothing new, there's nothing, innovative, because of which the whole movie was very predictable. There's a family with a lot of kids, they're living a very happy life. Suddenly they start getting haunted by a certain spirit. Then enter Ed and Lorraine Warren. They do their cross-rated things and exorcism, and then the spirit is gone. That's it. That's it, guys. It's totally predictable. Now we know what's going to happen next. And even the ghosts were not scary. There were a lot of jump scares in the first half, but personally for me, they were not scary. If we look at the story also, I mean, if you look at the character build up in this film, this movie is not just about Ed and Lorraine Warren, but it's about their daughter and her boyfriend. So now there are 4 people fighting demons and spirits. Even then, this movie was just very unimpressive. In the climax, these people are physically fighting the spirit. Have we reached a stage where we now have to see, actual human beings physically fighting spirits and ghosts? It was just funny. There was the funny thing which I was talking about previously. So overall, Conjuring 4, The Last Rites, very boring, very predictable. I was totally unimpressed. I would not recommend you guys to spend your money and go watch this in the theaters. We have a lot of innovative horror movies, especially ones which released recently. For example, Weapons, Bring Her Back, sorry. You can just watch those instead. So guys, that was my review of Conjuring 4 Last Rites. That was the end of this video. I hope through these reviews I have given you a fairly good idea of what these films are about. Should you watch these films or not? So just help me out by sharing this video with your friends, amongst your friend groups, amongst your family groups. Just send it and ask your people to just like it and subscribe to my channel. I will be back with another video, another review. Till then, take care. Goodbye.